Hello and welcome to Moon Maiden Tarot. Today we're going to be talking about who is fantasizing about you. Okay, so I just wanted to start off by saying thank you so much for watching my channel. Please remember to like and subscribe. It really helps me grow. And so let's just jump right into it. Alright, so we have pile 1, which is hematite, pile 2, which is amethyst, and pile 3, which is black onyx. Okay, so I'm going to give you a minute to meditate on which pile that you would like to choose, on who is fantasizing about you. And if you don't want to do the meditation, you can skip ahead to the timestamps below by looking in the description box. And if you want to do the meditation, then just sit right back and enjoy the soft, soothing sounds with me. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed the meditation and you were able to decide which pile that you would like to choose from for who is fantasizing about you. So let's get started on group number 1. Okay, so let's get started with group number 1. So you chose hematite. So let's see who is fantasizing about you. Alright, so group number 1. I'm going to start with section 1 here. So we have the 3 of pipes in reverse, joint effort, which is the 3 of wands in reverse, as well as competitiveness. So this is telling me that this is an ex or someone who you were with for a very short time. Perhaps it was a summer fling or a holiday romance. It also could have been somebody that you met while traveling, but I'm hearing that it was a very short relationship. And things may have appeared promising at first, but really they were not. So it was kind of one of those too good to be true situations. And due to the competitiveness card here, I'm also seeing that perhaps they saw you as like an achievement, and they have that competitive attitude to try to, conquer every person that they can. That sounds terrible, but that's the kind of person that they are. Okay, I'm realizing this is really dark. Okay, sorry for the change in lighting. I just wanted to make sure you could actually see the hematite. Okay, and then section 2, we have the sandpaper, which is 8 of shields or 8 of pentacles in reverse, and the pitcher. So this is somebody who is not ready for love, and it looks like they're kind of a workaholic. So they may have appeared very charming at first and are able to read people very easily to get what they want. I'm also seeing that there was some kind of helpful situation that drew you guys together. So they may have appeared to be very helpful. They tried to help you, help others. You tried to help them. Just take it how it resonates. But there is actually a real lack of concern for others on their part. Okay, so the pitcher warns not to pursue the relationship. And actually, the sandpaper card also looks like literally a red flag. So there may have been some red flags even at the beginning of this relationship that were going off. But maybe you just weren't paying attention to them because you were kind of just wooed by their charisma and their charm. Then we move on to section 3, which is the 9 of vessels or the 9 of cups in reverse. So the wish card, as well as disillusion. Okay, so your relationship may have looked glamorous from the outside, but it really lacked true happiness and fulfillment. This is also talking about someone who is narrow-minded on all aspects of life. Perhaps they were trying to see... they were unable to see anything long-term. And maybe you were starting to realize that too. You couldn't really see this being like a long-term relationship. It was just not something that was possible. I'm also seeing it was a very lust-filled relationship. So you guys really clicked and got along physically, and there was like a strong sexual attraction, but there is no real depth or spiritual connection between the two of you. So I'm kind of hearing like that it was a soul or a twin flame or a soul contract that was fulfilled. So similar to soulmates, twin flames and soulmates both have like a soul contract that basically your spirits are meant to find each other in this world. The difference between the two is that the soulmate is meant to be with somebody who, brings out the good parts of you, and you help each other grow in a really positive way. And you're kind of like the best versions of yourselves when you're around each other. But with the twin flame, it's also a soul contract, so you're meant to find each other, but it's a relationship where your blockages and things that are not working well for you, or maybe some type of like negative cycles that you keep repeating, get really brought to like the forefront of your awareness. You're taught to learn from those experiences in a very quick amount of time when you're with your twin flame. And so that's what I'm hearing from this connection, was that it was just a twin flame. So you guys were meant to find each other, but you are not meant to be together long term. And this is also saying that there was an emotional situation that came to an end. So you probably realized that, there wasn't much of a deeper connection there, and you weren't really satisfied, hanging out with them aside from when you guys were hooking up. So it's hard to keep something like that going long term when there's no real depth to the relationship. So yeah, just like this disillusion card is saying, it was a time of disillusionment. Okay, but something good did come of it. Your powerful feelings were internalized. You knew, what you didn't want in a relationship, what you do want in a relationship. So just like with how I was saying about the twin flame, those realizations are now coming into your awareness. And when you first realize that you two were not meant to be for each other, you may have been quite upset about that, and you may have even wanted to create some kind of havoc, but it's actually much healthier for you to express those feelings creatively. So realizing the parts of yourself that you didn't like, or the parts of that other person that you don't want to have in a partner. Then we have the fourth section, which is the sled or the chariot upright, and the visitor. So we actually have 777. So yeah, that's like the number of God, right? So it goes back to that soul contract. Like, you guys were meant to find each other, and you may not have meant to be together long term, but you were both going to learn something very important about this relationship moving forward. Okay, so the sled is telling me that this is a self-made person who is actually quite emotionless, so explains why you guys didn't have that deeper connection. I'm also hearing there's a lack of communication. Maybe you guys aren't speaking anymore. The relationship probably ended not very well. And I'm also seeing that it was like an imbalanced or one-sided relationship. So you can see here, like in the visitor card, this one person's like reaching back and is like trying to make that connection, and the other person is like, yeah, I'm kind of here, but I'm more interested in, what's out there and what I don't have right now. And that's really, the kind of relationship that you guys had together. And at this point, you realize there was just too many red flags. And like I said, this is a twin flame, so it taught you guys both a lot about relationships. And you may have met in unusual circumstances. So maybe this is someone that you would not typically go for, or you met in a place that you don't normally hang out. Now we move to section 5. So the Chief of Vessels, or the King of Cups in reverse, as well as promotion. So this is someone who turned out to be quite abrupt, violent, and rude. So, like, remember at the beginning I said they were very, like, charismatic and confident and, drew you in with their charm. But when you really got to know them, you saw that they are not that person at all, and it was all just a facade. So they actually have a real lack of ambition, wisdom, and power, and their mood can change within an instant. So that was just a huge turn-off. Another thing is that they partied way too much. So there may have been some substance or alcohol abuse when you guys were together, or this person has still, had when you guys were together. It may have been fun at first, but then you realize, like, it's a problem and it's not just an occasional type thing, it's all the time. So yeah, like I said, they probably drew you in with some kind of sweet talk and empty promises, but then when things, really came down to it, they were actually a real commitment phobic, and they maybe even cheated on you, and you may or may not have found out about that. So yeah, this was quite a toxic relationship, actually. So you may have felt something for them, but it was not reciprocated in the same way. And they're probably fantasizing about you now because they realize how, wrong they were. I don't think that they're entirely changing their ways and, not being that toxic person anymore, but they're thinking of the good, passionate times that you had together. And I'm also seeing this may have been a one-night stand. And yeah, so they know you're a good person and they fantasize about you sometimes, but like I said, they're toxic and you need to stay away. And they may be romanticizing the relationship. You know, just like in this promotion card with the moon being shown here, like it's mostly light, not dark. So in their mind, they're just like highlighting all the good things about it, you know, because that's kind of how they function mentally. They only look at the good stuff, and it's hard for them to look at the bad, which is interesting too, because here we have, you know, the bad side. So this is really interesting, actually. So here it starts like pretty balanced. They're like a normal person. Here you see like their dark side, and now that you're away, like things are much brighter for you. But also for them, they're just looking at, you know, all the good parts, and perhaps even throughout that relationship, looking back, you're now seeing how many red flags you denied, you know, that you were just trying not to listen to. You weren't really listening to your intuition and that gut feeling that you were having, and the shadow side was taking over throughout your relationship, and then you weren't listening to those parts of yourself. And so that's what I'm hearing that you actually learned a lot from this relationship, is how to build your intuition and know how to identify someone who's toxic for you, you know, someone that's not meant to be with you long term. And you definitely grew from this relationship, but I'm not seeing that this person has really matured or changed much at all. And yeah, they're probably seeing like how much of a catch that you are, and they're now fantasizing about you. All right, and it's hard to get a clear sign on what they are, because we have here fire, water, and air. So they could be either one of those, or you could be either one. It's not really that clear. Anything but an earth sign, I guess, is coming through. Could also mean that, you know, that this person that's fantasizing about you is just not really grounded. They're kind of all over the place, which really explains the type of personality that's being shown through the cards here. Okay, so that's all for the tarot reading portion of the pick a card. And now I'm going to go over the qualities of the hematite rock. So instead of pulling messages this time, I decided to go with giving you a fuller description of the rock or gem that you were drawn to. And just so you know, I do sell jewelry that is made out of hematite on my Instagram and Facebook page. Feel free to contact me if you're interested in purchasing one. Okay, so hematite helps absorb negative energy and calms you in times of stress and worry. It's a very protective stone and is great to help you stay grounded. There you go, something that was most definitely needed throughout this time, and probably reflecting back is a really good thing to keep learning from in the future, right? Like learning from how to listen to your intuition. Always keeping your feet on the ground and knowing that things are not so fantastical all the time. There's some underlying issues there. And hematite also works the root chakra. Okay, so this helps transform negative energies into more positive vibration. So yeah, that's exactly all of what I spoke about throughout this reading. So like increasing your intuition, keeping your feet on the ground, and just learning from this experience. You know, not even the negative things that we go through in life. It's really, they're just lessons, you know. Not everything is always going to be great 100% of the time, right? So this is actually a really great reading, and I'm excited for you moving forward. So thank you so much for checking out my channel. Please remember to like and subscribe, and leave me a comment down below. I really want to help you move forward with this and give you words of encouragement. So let me know if this reading resonated with you by dropping a comment in the message box below. Otherwise, I will see you next time. So have a good one. Bye. Okay, so group number 2, Amethyst. So let's find out who is fantasizing about you. Okay, so who is fantasizing about you, group number 2? So we are first going to look at section 1, which is the Devil in reverse and the Stone or 4 card. So this is telling me that this is someone who gave you their everything, but is now gaining more independence. This may be someone who's overcoming addiction. I'm hearing that this was someone who was at a low point in their life when you met or when you were together, and they tend to hold on to very strong family traditional values. Okay, so that's what the 4 is. These are like family secrets and family traditions. So they're very kind of close-minded and very traditional in the way that they viewed life. And, you know, like family and career and all of those types of things. So they're very inflexible in the fluidity of the type of relationship that they were looking for. And there may have been some destruction or discord within their families, either yours or theirs. And I'm also seeing there's strong material and possessiveness in their nature. And again, they're very stubborn about family business, personal property, and those strong family traditions. Okay, so yeah, they only knew how to see things in one way. Then we move on to section 2. So we have the Moon card in the upright and the 2 paths, or 19. So this is telling me that they were under a great amount of pressure to make a life decision that they were not, you know, they were unlike themselves when you guys were together. So even though it didn't appear that way, they were actually really insecure about their life choices at that time. And they were waiting it out for the right moment to decide what to do moving forward. So they may have come across as being really mysterious and were hard to read, you know, what was going on in their minds. And I'm also hearing that there's really high intuition, like either for you or for them. I think you intuitively know who this person is, and maybe they have like a high intuition as well, and you know when to step away from the relationship. And when you guys started seeing each other, it was very emotionally exciting, and there was great optimism at the start of your journey together. However, then you ended up having to go separate ways through these like 2 paths. So this is saying that you probably haven't spoken for quite some time because you ended up having to break up, maybe after school or something like that. Yeah, I'm seeing that there was some far thinking and far distance travel that took place. So maybe, you know, you guys went to different schools, or one of you moved away to a different city, and it was just like a natural progression of what was going to happen in both of your lives. So it was kind of like a mutual decision that was made. It's not like one person broke up with the other for really any other type of reason aside from you both needed your own personal growth at this time. I'm also seeing that there was great success in developing their own ideas. So it could be for both of you, you were able to gain some more independence, but at the same time there was difficulty in sustaining a commercial enterprise. So that may have been them with like their family business, or their initial goals and dreams and what they set out to do in their career or what have you. And there's also some difficulty in establishing a fixed residence. So either they moved around a lot or you moved around a lot. And that's kind of what happened like shortly after you guys broke up. Then in section 3, we have contentment, or the 6 of vessels, which is the 6 of cups in the upright, and achievement and full moon. So this relationship may have been challenging at times, but it was also very rewarding. I'm also seeing that this is someone from your childhood. Someone, from your childhood, your youth, could have been like your childhood sweetheart. If that doesn't resonate with you, it could just be someone who acted childish and immature when you guys were together. Or it was just like, like a puppy love, like a first love type of relationship. And it wasn't like very serious or heavy. It was really lighthearted, and you guys just had a lot of fun whenever you were together. And maybe you even felt like, you could conquer the world when you were together with each other's energies combined. So yeah, it was a really fulfilling relationship for the both of you. And I'm also seeing that this person who's fantasizing about you has reached their financial goals at this time, right now. And so they're looking back on, the relationship that you guys had in your youth, and they're remembering how wonderful it is. And they're kind of lacking that in their life right now. So yeah, they have like great business acumen, they're appreciated by others, they're respected in their field, they're a very hard worker, and they want to provide for their future spouse or their future partner. And when they think back on the relationship that you guys had, that's why they're fantasizing about you now. They're thinking like they worked so hard because they wanted to provide for you, and now they're ready to be with you in a more fulfilling way, not just like financially, but they've also grown and they've matured since you guys were together. Then we look at section 4. So we have the horse thief, which is the 7 of blades, or the 7 of swords in the upright, and another sword. So this is talking about having that achievement of success after conflict and danger. So again, it's going back to this achievement. Things may have been challenging. I'm getting that it's when you were not together that the challenges arose, as you were both gaining your independence. There also may have been some deception or lies within your relationship. And maybe you guys were just like playing games, like it wasn't very serious. But now I'm hearing that it's time for you to let your walls down. And if you do end up getting back together, you won't have to play those games anymore. You guys are both have this like deep connection with one another. So maybe maybe it was, not the best breakup. I'm still seeing that it was like a mutual thing, even if one person felt more strongly about it than the other. And maybe there were some harsh words that were exchanged and the emotions were high at that time. But now, that tension has died down, and you guys are able to be more vulnerable and open with each other at this time. So this is also saying that bad fortune will be reversed. So that's really good news. But along with that is that there's a warning of slander. I'm also seeing there's an overwhelming need to take action for a cause. Okay, so maybe this person didn't like how things ended between you guys, or maybe they saw that there was far more potential for you guys in the future, and he or she is thinking that moment is right now. So they're trying to right those wrongs so that you can be back in their life again. Then we look at the fifth section, which is Sundance in the upright, and Concession. So the Sundance is the Hanged Man in the traditional deck. So this is talking about a symbolic death. Okay, so both of you have changed and grew up a lot from your past, and you're not the same people anymore. I'm also seeing that there needs to be a sacrifice made for the greater good. So maybe this person who was like really stuck in their ways and had this very traditional viewpoint of what, you know, a relationship was, is now letting their guard down and is now not being so forceful in that narrow-minded vision of what a relationship has to be. They're either like really trying to get over you at this time because you were like, you know, their first love, and they're still fantasizing about you and what kind of future that you can have together. And they're deciding, you know, if this is the time, if they want to be with you, this is the time to make concessions to adjust for the future. So concessions are agreeing to let someone do or have something to end an argument. So they may be more open to having, you know, a non-traditional type of relationship. If they want to be with you, they're willing to make some compromises. Due to this, you know, death of the self or the ego, their perspective on love and relationships has changed. So just like how I was saying, they were like more stuck in their ways and like a very traditional sense of what a relationship is, what a marriage is, what a long-term partnership has to be. And here they're more willing to open themselves up to a non-traditional type relationship because they are so infatuated with you. So the signs that I'm seeing here are earth and air. Okay, so take that as it resonates. Either you could be one of those signs or they are one of those signs. So it's Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy. So that's the end of the tarot reading. And instead of pulling messages, I decided this time I'm going to give a deeper interpretation of the rock that you were drawn to. So this is amethyst. This is by far one of my favorite gems or crystals. And if you're interested, I do sell amethyst bracelets and jewelry, so please contact me on my Instagram or my Facebook, and I'm very willing to help you pick out the perfect piece for yourself. Okay, so amethyst helps relieve stress, strain. It soothes irritability, balances mood swings, dispels anger, rage, fear, and anxiety. It also helps to alleviate sadness and grief. It dissolves negativity. It activates spiritual awareness, opens intuition, and enhances psychic abilities. Very cool. So I hope that you enjoyed this reading. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment in the section below and let me know if this resonated with you, if this sounds like someone that you know or used to know. And don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps my channel grow. And I will see you in the next one. Okay? Bye! Alright, now we have deck number 3, or Black Onyx. So let's see who is fantasizing about you. Okay, so looking at section 1, I see here that it may have been the person who like got away. It may have been your first love. Okay, so we have the Corn Maiden in the upright and sacrifice. So the Corn Maiden is the high priestess in the traditional tarot deck. So yeah, this was like the ideal partner. However, they may have had really high expectations, or you had high expectations, and those expectations did not pan out. I'm also seeing that with the sacrifice card that this person was like completely selfless, but they were too extreme with it. They may have been like a people pleaser, and they were just emotionally giving all of their energy away, and they didn't really know who they were themselves because they were just trying to make sure that everyone around them was happy. And so it was really hard to build a connection with this person because it's like you didn't even really know who they were, what their passions or interests were, because they really were not emotionally connected to themselves. Then we move on to section 2, so the One of Blades or the Ace of Swords in the upright, and passion. So we're seeing here that there was a need for growth, obviously, and that they needed to trust in the struggle for individuality. So they needed to build that independence and that emotional connection to their inner self. Okay, so this is talking about how wisdom cannot be acquired passively. All right, so they had to go out and have some life experiences and learn about the things that they did and did not like. So they needed to have they needed to have faith and understanding in the nature of the environment, in one's fellow, and in oneself. And after they were able to do that, or after they were able to do that, then the situation is able to become clearer, and they're able to become healed emotionally, right? And I'm seeing that they still have this deep love and passion for you, and they want to get back together. So that's why they're fantasizing about you. Then we have section 3, which is the 10 of Blades or the 10 of Swords in the upright, okay, Ruin, as well as Demeter. So this relationship ended due to rash actions. They lost something dear and important to them, perhaps you. And also due to their like people pleasing, they were always putting themselves in like vulnerable situations with other people. And this ruin was like, some of their close friends and family, maybe even, kind of backstabbed them, or took advantage of them because they were so open and willing to do anything for that approval. So eventually what was lost, perhaps the relationship, will be returned. So, you may or may not get back together, but I'm seeing that is like all that they are relying on right now, because they're fantasizing about you quite a bit. And they tend to use this like systematic approach to perfection. So they may be like a perfectionist, and they fantasize about the perfect relationship, and you're that person that they think of when they think of like the ideal partner and the best relationship they ever had, and the one that they want to be with forever, or what have you. So they're really fantasizing about this like idealized relationship with you a lot. And I'm also seeing that September is or was a very significant month in your relationship. So either you met at that time, you started dating at that time, maybe you broke up at that time, or that's when, like people started turning on them at that time. Just take it however it resonates. Then we see the fourth section here. So we have the Three of Shields, or the Three of Pentacles in reverse, the Craftsman, as well as the 28 Sleeper card. So this is telling me that this person is actually like quite a loser. They don't really have much going on for them right now in their life. And they struggle to build relationships and have normal relationships with other people. And it may be due to still having that like that lack of emotional depth and connection to themselves. And so there's a real lack of commitment or growth that they make in any of their other relationships, since they have broken off that one from you, or from whatever, situation that happened here with their friends. And so they're like that sleeper right now. They're just kind of waiting patiently and being dormant until they can be with you again. So yeah, like I said, they're fantasizing about you a lot. They're like in their heads all the time. They're thinking about your guys' future together. Even if you don't like even talk anymore, they might try to reach out to you every once in a while, but they kind of just stay in the shadows, and they're like waiting for the right time to approach you, but they really lack in self-confidence, so they may never approach you, and they're just kind of waiting for you to do that. And yeah, I'm seeing that their outer world is quite chaotic. So like I said, like things, are not going incredibly smoothly for them, because they still have that blockage within themselves, right? Like they're kind of lying to themselves, like their outer world is in chaos, but yet in their inner world, it's like calm and collected and this tranquil state of mind, because they're just like fantasizing about this life that they want to have. But at the same time, they're like not taking any actions to make that happen. So they're really lacking in ambition. Then we have the fifth section, which is the Judgment card in reverse and Principles. And again, with the Fall here coming up. So yeah, they're avoiding contacting with you because of their self-doubt. And they don't want to make any big decisions. Perhaps, if you guys ended up breaking up before, like they cannot take that rejection again. So they just kind of watch you from afar and fantasize about the relationship that you guys could have together. So yeah, they're quite shy or embarrassed to approach you, and they could be working really hard financially, thinking that, if I, am financially well off, then everything else will just fall into place. So I'm going to work really hard, but not make any of these other, not focus on any of this other growth in my life, like the emotional. Yeah, so I'm just going to focus on the financial parts of my life, and I'm not going to work on anything else, because I think that's what's going to bring this person, you, back into their life, if I have everything figured out in that way, then it'll all just work out. So right now they're actually really trying to balance their work life, their like personal and their professional life. And that's where they are right now, but they're not digging into those deeper, emotional blockages and like parts of themselves that needs the real work, where like the root of the issue is as to why they are not having like good relationships with other people. And it might even not just be like romantic relationships that they're struggling with at this time. It could be like work relationships, friendships, relationships with their family. They're just really not getting it because they're not emotionally connected, and so they're having a hard time connecting with other people. So if we look at the type of sign that they are, I'm getting that water and earth are the ones that are coming up. So either you're one of those signs or they're one of those signs. Take it how it resonates. So it's Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, or Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Okay, so that is it for the tarot portion of the reading. And now instead of pulling messages, I decided this time that I was going to interpret the rock that you had chosen. So why were you drawn to this specific gem or crystal? So this is black onyx. And if you're interested, I do sell jewelry that is made out of black onyx, so you can contact me on my Instagram or my Facebook page. Just drop me a message and let me know. So black onyx is a powerful protection stone. It absorbs negative energy and helps prevent drain of personal energy. It aids in the development of emotional and physical strength and stamina, especially when support is needed in times of stress, confusion, or grief. So if that resonates with you, let me know. Leave a comment in the box below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next reading. Thanks so much for being here. Remember that the pick of cards are released every Wednesday at 2, so make sure you come back and check out the one next week. All right, thanks again. Bye.